calling in today. And I wanted to start with sharing a little bit of information about a program that the Department of Administration is launching right now that is a part of the HR transformation, but it's also a part of other initiatives that are happening in the Department of Administration. So, over the months of June and July, the commissioner met with every other department commissioner and introduced the idea of Forward Together. Our Forward Together program is really focused on how can we have the healthiest and most effective working relationship possible with the Department of Administration and the agencies that we serve. And so, what I'd like to do today is quickly give you an overview of the Forward Together program, which is the same slides that your commissioner saw when we first introduced this idea. We start with the idea of moving forward together. And when we talk about moving forward together, we're really discussing how can we, as an executive branch, as a large government agency, help each other meet our mission needs, and how can we best mitigate any types of risks or um, glitches, if you will, or clunkiness in the system so that we're really able to maximize the resources we have to give the best service possible to our clients, most of which are public. For the Department of Administration, while we serve the public, we also serve all of the other agencies in the executive branch. So we want to make sure we're caring for our public clients as well as our agency clients. So, with Forward Together, we really wanted to first define what is the scope of the Department of Administration in this program. What I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about that scope and then introduce you to the guiding principles, the modernization programs that are currently active in the Department of Administration, and our governance structure. We are proposing a brand new governance structure that will allow for a lot more collaboration and interaction with departments in the Department of Administration when it comes to policy and procedure and figuring out how we're going to get the work done and make it work for all of the agencies. So with Forward Together, we're really focused on three areas in the Department of Administration. Our scope focuses on technology, which is where can we streamline processes? Where can we digitize processes or automate them? Can we use artificial intelligence or any type of computer system to help us clean up some of our processes? Can we make them easier and faster for employees to use? And that allows more time for employees to focus on the mission of their department or to focus on that most critical work. So, for example, imagine if we could automate onboarding. That's one of our top priorities in the Department of Administration and in the human resources arena. Is imagine if when someone started with the job, they could go on an app and they only had to fill in their name once, and it populated any hire paperwork that needed to be completed, and they could walk through the system and it would automatically send a notice to IT to set up computers. It would automatically contact payroll to set up everything in HRM so that we're still doing onboarding work in human resources. We can focus our time on those more complex activities that are involved with onboarding, and we can have more of a human connection with our folks. And we could save a lot of time in just that copying of pieces of paper or having a new employee fill out the same information by hand on 19 or 20 pieces of paper. Those are the types of things that we believe in technology, the technology scope. The Department of Administration could really help agencies with some of those processes that right now take a lot of staff time to do because they're manual in nature. The organization scope, our focus there is really on, again, finding places in processes where we maybe have extra steps we don't need, or maybe we can do it in a different way now so that, again, we can really spend the bulk of our employee time on those mission critical tasks. And so this is not only about how do we free up time in HR, because I know all of you are are crazy busy. How can we free up some of that time, not only for HR folks, also for department employees across the enterprise? We really believe that there are ways to streamline our business processes. Maybe we don't need 4 levels of approval. Maybe we can change that. So, this is above and beyond automation. It's one thing to automate a process. If it's still a 70-step process when it could be a 25-step process, even automated, it will take more time. So, that's what we're looking at with the organization. And then finally, we have practices. And practices is really focusing on those behaviors like using MS Teams or WebEx to help people communicate and to share files. So it's what do we do to be the most effective workforce that we can be? And so that's really DOA's scope. What can we do in admin to assist with the technology, the organization, and the practices that are common across agencies and that we typically think of as that administrative bucket of duties, if you will. So if we can go to the next slide, this we took that first blue bar, those are our guiding principles. So from the Department of Administration, what we really want to do is we want to make our workplaces as safe as we can for employees and for the citizens of Alaska that we serve. Right now, that means that we're doing as much teleworking as we can to really keep people safe through the pandemic. We also want to make sure that we have a workforce that is as resilient as possible to any kind of disruptive challenge. It could be an earthquake, it could be a fire, it could be a flood, or it could be a pandemic. And then finally, how do we make this a better experience for everyone? How do we make this a better experience when we come to work and deliver services or when we are helping the citizens of Alaska? So then we wanted to say if that's our vision, how do we make that happen? How do we move forward together, all the departments and DOA? And here's where we really are committed to active listening, to collaborating in order to accelerate progress. So we're going to look at how do we make progress. We may not reach perfection, but we know we can make progress and start improving some of our clunkier business processes. And how do we make the biggest impact on the most people? How do we really have those wins that people say this was worth doing and we're ready to embrace this new kind of process? So the middle, the gold bar, is our modernization programs. Right now, the Department of Administration has 8 active enterprise-wide initiatives. So enterprise-wide means that this does impact every department. And we've started over on the left with our consolidation programs. So we have 3 that are under the APEX title, and those are procurement, shared services, and the Office of Information Technology. And then we have our HR transformation, which is what we're going to focus on today. In the middle, we have PPP, which stands for Pandemic Preparedness Plan. We are currently in phase 1 of this plan. It is our attempt to look at what can we do in the state of Alaska to modernize ourselves as much as possible, which includes digitization, automation, and how can we sustain a remote workforce if that's needed. And then on the right are 3 initiatives that are active: our cloud migration, which is being run by OIT, the IRIS upgrade is being run by the Division of Finance, and then with that IRIS upgrade, we are anticipating accounting practices will become more standardized across the state so that we can get the most out of that new IRIS upgrade and the IRIS system itself. Overarching all of these 8 initiatives is a new office in the Department of Administration called the Program Acceleration Office. The head of that office is Raquel Solomon Gross. She comes to us with a lot of experience from several different departments. And the Program Acceleration Office is really intended to help the Department of Administration integrate all these programs, function as a liaison with all of the departments to ensure that we're getting feedback and incorporating it into the programs. And it's really, if you think about it, kind of like air traffic control. So it's not in charge of or making all the decisions about each of these programs, but it's definitely helping us stay organized, coordinated, and getting us to that finish finish line with a successful implementation of these programs. And then last but not least, we have the green box. And the green box is focusing on governance. So what we are proposing is that we will establish the Alaska Administrative Governance Council. And that council will be a collection of commissioners who have volunteered, and they will meet quarterly. And they will be helping to guide the direction and the priorities of the Department of Administration when it comes to those services we provide to other departments. And so when the commissioner met with each of the departments, she did ask for nomination forms to be turned in for folks who would like to participate in the governance structure. And so we are hoping to send the list of volunteers up to the governor's office very soon, hopefully in the next few days, and we'll be able to begin having the governance council meet. With the governance council, they're really going to be looking at the highest level enterprise policy and direction, where we think a lot of the what we would think of as more of the operational policy and direction will reside with the advisory committees. So we'll have 4 committees: human resources, procurement, technology, and shared services. And the advisory committee members are primarily deputy commissioners, division directors, maybe some division ops managers or deputy directors. And they'll focus on those areas, and they will help provide recommendations and policy and direction. Either they'll approve it or they'll move it to the council for final approval. And those advisory committees will be responsible for creating working groups for those subject matter expertise areas. So for example, in technology, they might have the cloud migration working group. In human resources advisory committee, we might have an onboarding working group, or a recruitment working group, or a classification working group. So the ideas here is that in the working groups, the subject matter experts are really going to be able to continue the work we're doing in HR transformation, for example, and keep all of us up to speed on how we can modernize and automate our systems, how well we're doing in terms of our performance, and what we can do to really make an even better relationship and working partnership between the Department of Admin and the departments that we serve. So I wanted to share that with you. I hope that that is helpful. I know it's a lot of information really fast, and certainly feel free to reach out if you want to talk more with me one-on-one about what this means. But I wanted you to know where we're going in the Department of Administration and how the HR transformation fits into the Forward Together program. So thank you very much. I'm going to pass it over to Kate.